Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Axie AMA. Today's topic is going to be mostly focused on the Codex, the Axie Battle Pass, and we're joined here today with Shade and Cruz. I'll let y'all introduce yourselves, starting with Shade.
Cool. Good morning, everyone. It's early here on the west coast of the United States. But yeah, I'm excited to be here again for another Discord AMA. But yeah, I'm Shade. You guys know me. I work on Axie Infinity, on Axie Core, app.axie, everything around that. And yeah, I'm excited to talk a little bit about some Axie Core stuff.
Awesome, Cruz.
Yeah, hey guys. So now I'm the Atias guy. Used to be the Origins guy. So talking a lot with Shade and figuring out how we can combine forces from the Axie core and the app.axie side with the Atias legacy going forward, and making sure we have some cool new experiences for everyone to check out and really grow the ecosystem. So mostly here for support and just cheering on from the sidelines, but I'm sure people will have things that I can answer at some point. So just here to cheer you guys on.
Awesome, thank you. So let's jump into it. Shade, where do you wanna start?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess let's do a quick recap on the Codex, right? Whether you are playing it or not, whether you're familiar with it. Um, so the Codex is, it's an Axie Infinity Battle Pass, right? We launched season 0 of the Codex about, what was it, 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? I think we're on week 3 or week 4 or something. Somebody correct me. 3 weeks, yeah, okay. Um, so so we're on. We've gone through 3 weeks already. The Codex is the name for our global central battle pass, right? That is supposed to reach across all of Axie Infinity, right? So right now, it might feel like it's very Axie app.axie based, and while it does live on app.axie, that's right. The vision for it is to extend to all experiences across Axie Infinity, right? So it kind of does now, right? Naturally, because it's connected to the bounty board, right? And bounty board has, Origins quests, it's got classic quests, homeland quests, it even has, community made game quests like for Axie Quest, right? Um, and naturally through that, this battle pass sort of ties together the entire ecosystem in the same way that the bounty board does that. But it sort of adds this nice seasonal progression, right? As you unlock rewards, perks, and engage with the ecosystem through all these different methods, right? And it's supposed to be sort of a rewarding experience, right? Um, and foundationally, it's sort of a way for us to experiment with different rewards, and different incentivization mechanisms, right? Right now, the codex is, it's filled with accessories that you can get. You can get 4 accessories through the normal progression, and then another 4 accessories through the Ascendant Wellspring. Right, you earn these coins, and then you roll the spring, and you try to get some additional accessories. And along the way, you're also unlocking perks or whatever, right? That sort of help you out in this Codex Battle Pass experience. And so we're like 3 weeks in, and you could see on the app.axie page that there's, I don't know, something like 2,500 purchases, right, of the codex. And every single one of those purchases, they've paid 7.5 AXS or whatever. Um, and everyone is in varying levels of progression, right? Some people are at level 10. There are, I think the highest level is, what is it? Somebody tell me in the chat. It's like 35 right now or something. Has anyone reached 40 yet? I don't know. But 40-ish. Okay, so it maxes out at, wow, Et, you're probably one of the top. You got to be one of the top 5, right? It maxes out at 50. And once you're at 50, you've finished it. You finished the battle pass. And yeah, we've sort of calculated it so that it would take, a max rolling whale like ET to finish it in 3 to 4 weeks, and it's looking like it's gonna be, it's gonna be that. And then like it will take all 8 weeks for, somebody who's not re-rolling that much, right? And or just doing the easy, simple free quests, right? It take them all 8 weeks. So that's sort of how we wanted to balance the codex. And like I said, 2 weeks ago, the code this season zero is a way for us to learn and get as much information about how people use the codex as possible. Whether it's how the rewards are incentivizing them, whether it is enough or not, the cost of the codex, the amount of rewards they're getting back, the progression of the rewards, how slow or how fast people are leveling up. We're gathering all that data for season one, and season one will be the big, um, you know, official first season. Yeah. So that's a little recap on, just the codex so far. The feedback has been pretty good. I think one thing that, I was really hoping that would happen, that kind of did happen, is, it sort of reactivated a lot of people, right? A lot of people who were, big bounty board players last year, who sort of dropped off because, the bounty board got stale. um, those A lot of those players sort of came back and, are having a lot of fun with the codex, and that's been really really cool to see. um and but, of course, this is something that is very content based, and so, in future seasons we'll have to figure out, how do we keep players engaged throughout the season. What kind of live ops can we do? What kind of rewards can we, scatter throughout the progression of the codex? And what cool experiences, can we connect to, right? Yeah. um there's some good questions in the chat. Primarily from Ken here. Will season one boost AXS usage? Yeah, season zero boosted AXS usage. That's what the stats show for sure. Is that, people are now, uh, they're spending more. The average spend on the bounty board has increased, right? There are obviously more people playing the bounty board now. And obviously, every single player of the codex had to have purchased it, and that's AXS usage, right? And we're looking to lean more into that in season one. Cool. So, so looking forward to season one. We started working on this already. There were a bunch of features and stuff in season zero that we sort of skipped, just for the sake of, moving fast and getting season zero out the door. But a lot of these features will should make it into season one, and then season one should have a lot of, cool new mechanics and things like that, right? Obviously, there will be new rewards. There will be, uh, cool new perks and stuff to play with. But the main theme with season one that I want to unlock is more player agency and freedom and choice, right? Now, how battle passes generally work across, different games is it's pretty linear, right? It's, you buy the battle pass and you sort of unlock, um, things in a very linear order, right? Um, Something new that has come up with a lot of new battle passes recently is there are multiple paths, or, you know uh, choices to make along the way, right? And this is something we're exploring for season one, right? Like, imagine there were multiple paths that you could explore or go down, right? And each path sort of has a a different progression path and different rewards and perks that you unlock. And so based on your playing style, or based on what rewards interest or motivate you, you could go down a specific path, right? And obviously, if you go down one path, you'll sacrifice the perks and rewards from the other path. So that's something that we're exploring right now. Another big theme for season one that we left out for season zero is lore, right? I think I mentioned this in one of the past um, AMAs, is that uh, one of the primary things with the codex was we wanted it to be a lore delivery vehicle, right? Um, one mistake that we've made in the past with lore is we've not released a lot of lore because we sort of just wait around for game experiences, which is generally the traditional way for games and IPs to release lore, right, is through gameplay, right? Imagine playing an MMO or some kind of RPG or whatever, and you're exploring the world, you're talking to NPCs, you're completing quests, you're reading, consuming lore, right? That's the traditional way. With I'm realizing now that that is maybe not the best way to release lore, right? Because otherwise we could be waiting a long time to just release any little tidbits of lore. So yeah, WoW has books, Star Wars has books and movies. Some IPs have comics, things like that, right? And so the Codex is an attempt at experimenting with different kinds of lore delivery, right? So how it'll be in season one is each codex season will encapsulate a certain narrative of the lore, a chunk of the lore. So imagine a big war or a battle in Lunacia a long time ago, and this codex will sort of capture that. And as you're unlocking and leveling up the codex, you are revealing a little bit more of the lore. So at each sort of milestone in the codex, you are reading a little bit more lore. There's some art, maybe there's comics, maybe there's videos sometime, right? Sometimes. And as you're progressing your codex, you are consuming this lore and learning a little bit more about this story that this season of Codex encapsulates, right? Um, and going back to the different paths, um, uh, each sort of path that you select, in your Codex, or whichever one you want to finish first, that'll sort of be another character or another piece of the lore, and so you can sort of experience it in a non-linear path in whatever order that you want, in a similar way that free roaming in MMO could feel like you can do quests in different orders, you can go do different things in an RPG, right? um and so I kind of wanted to imitate that feeling of freedom and choice in the codex. So that's something that we're exploring. There will be some lore, and tied to the lore will be the accessories, right? So as you're unlocking accessories and leveling up your codex, you'll get these accessories that are tied to the lore, right? For example, maybe in the lore, Kotaro defeats a boss and the boss drops an amulet. That amulet could be the accessory that you mint and are rewarded with as you unlock the codex. Um, yeah, so that's sort of
I think
the
that's
vision. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I think it's super awesome. I think lore is like really important for like providing a uh sense of personal connection to like the ecosystem, you know. I can remember so many nights falling to sleep listening to lore on The Legend of Zelda. You know, there could be just be like a wall painting etched into a wall on a mountain, and it doesn't really mean anything, but the community can go so deep theory crafting about what that means, how it got there, who put it there, and the implications of it, that you can create a 20-minute video. Um, yeah, and I think that just goes to show like how little bits of lore, whether said or shown, can have such a huge impact on the community. Um, and then you mentioned a little bit about like MMOs, and what I can see in chat, we've got a question uh, relating to Atia's legacy, asking if we can have a codex just like this for Atia's legacy. And my thinking is Atia's legacy would probably be integrated directly into this codex. Am I wrong?
No, no, no. That's exactly what we would love, right? Is we don't want two different battle pass systems, right? We just want one battle pass system. Nobody wants to have to buy two battle passes for Axie Infinity, right? You buy one battle pass, and it unlocks a lot of content, a lot of things to do within that season, right? And that could mean, quests in Atia's Legacy one day, right? And so yeah, we wouldn't make a separate system. At least I wouldn't want to clutter the ecosystem like that. Instead, it should just have quests, right? Like in the same way that the bounty board currently has games quests, for Origins, Classic, and Homeland, and Axie Quest, it should have quests for Atia's Legacy, right?
Someone says if you're going to make an Axie RPG, make it like Pokemon Go. I think that'd be really cool. Definitely not the same, but the idea of being able to catch wild Axies through some sort of questing mechanism in game, that could be really cool. No idea if that could be if that's possible, but that's a fun idea.
Yeah. So, some other smaller things that might come to season one of the Codex will be um, a referral system, right? Earlier this year, we got rid of the Lunacian code, and in hopes that we would work on sort of the next version of the Lunacian code, right? And I think the next version of the Lunacian code is actually very centered around the Codex. And naturally, the Codex is tied to the bounty board, and the bounty board is naturally tied to everything in the ecosystem, right? There are quests for breeding, buying assets, for playing games, and all these things, right? Evolving, AXP, progression. So the bounty board is naturally tied already to everything in the ecosystem. So it makes sense that you know the Lunacian code is related to it, right? And so how we're thinking about it right now is, and again, this is all work in progress right now. We're working on season one actively right now. But how we're thinking about it is, everyone who purchases the codex gets a referral link, and through this referral link, if you share this out and people buy the codex through your referral link, you will get some kickback, right? Maybe a portion of that of their purchase goes to your rewards, right? And the more people that you refer, the more rewards that you'll get, right? Just a traditional, regular referral system. And the cool thing is, like, we can experiment with a lot of cool and different referral mechanisms, right? Maybe uh, you know, th- your progression matters, and maybe you have to unlock stuff, and maybe the people that you refer, maybe some of their points go back to your codex, right? And things like that. So it sort of incentivizes you to refer somebody who will play the codex, So I think there's a lot of cool things that we can do there. But yeah, definitely in season one, we're looking to bring back the Lunacian code in some way. I know that a lot of people really want the Lunacian code to come back, and I do too.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see. The Ronin Arcade had something similar where you could refer people. They could use your code or maybe use your link, and then if they bought a battle pass, it would give you extra points towards progressing. But then you could also purchase the battle pass for other users, and then that would also like that purchase for the other user would count as a referral. And I thought it was a really fun mechanism because I'm a streamer, so I was always streaming my progress with the Ronin Arcade, and it was a great mechanism for me to be able to run giveaways for Ronin Arcade battle passes. And while I'm helping out my community, I'm also helping myself out a little bit as well.
That's awesome.
I'm seeing a lot of questions in chat about like the length, like the amount of days within the season. Is that something static, or is that something considered for change as well?
That could be considered for change. Yeah, I would. We'll obviously look at all the feedback, at the end of the season. But I would love to know, like, does it feel too long? Does it feel too short? I think the reason why we picked 8 weeks is, we wanted it to encapsulate many bounty board weeks, right? The cool thing about the codex is that it spans 8 weeks, and within one codex season, um, you're also participating in the bounty board and getting rewards through the bounty board, right? 8 times. And the cool thing with the rewards is there are bonus bounty board points as rewards, and so you can sort of choose when you want to claim and unlock those bounty board rewards to help you in the codex or in the bounty board, right? But yeah, it's the length is something that we'll look at. Um, you know, I personally currently feel that it's 8 weeks is maybe a good amount of time. It could feel too long to some people, and to some people it could feel too short, right? Like ET is almost done with his. What is he gonna do for the remaining 4 weeks? I don't know. He might just sit around and twiddle his thumb, or maybe he'll still do the bounty board. I have no idea. But we'll look at that data, right? And some people won't even finish, it at the end of the season, and so yeah, we'll see. But I would if people feel strongly about a certain length, let us know.
Yeah, it seems like that the season 0 codex orb is like a hot ticket item that like people really want to get to the end and grab that. ET is saying in chat though that it's not a soulbound item, so the other people that may achieve it can also list it on the marketplace. So if there's
Yeah.
really that desire, you're always able to get it secondhand.
Yeah, definitely. And like that was very intentional, right? Making it not soulbound is actually intentional, so that we can create that economy where there are people who grind, you know, this item, right? And depending on the utility in the future, could create demand for that item, which would create demand for the codex and people playing the codex, right? And so that is sort of, the start potentially of like a flywheel, right? Of, grinders grinding out codex orbs, people who need the codex orb using the codex orb, so purchasing it from those people, which, perpetually spins, right? And so yeah, depending on what that utility is in the future, right, could get really interesting. Um, Landfill had a great comment here about the codex being a really good step forward, but this is similar with how the arcade is. It's too weighted towards high value actions. Things that cost a lot of money, right? Like buying assets or breeding Axies or evolving, right? Those are not quests that are easy to do, right? They might be easy, but they are high value. They're expensive, right? And yeah, that's extremely good feedback. And it might feel like that right now, right? Because the bounty board is, I mean, like the bounty board at one point felt like it had a good balance, right? And then we sort of shifted it a little bit more towards app.axie quests, right? Because that's sort of where the value is, right? And the excess, accrual happens. Um, but with a de-emphasis on games, it made sense to do that shift, right? But we're hoping that in the future, with Atia's legacy rolling out, there will be more games quests and more, you know, diversity in the kinds of quests, right? And this also brings me to another topic where um, App.Axie could create some like mini games. There could be some mini games on App.Axie that allow us to introduce some new quests, right? Like imagine the maintenance game, right? Axie Tsunami or whatever. Imagine that
Yeah.
being a quest in the bounty board. Like it could just say, get 1,000 points on Axie Tsunami, right? And there could be some other mini games that we sort of introduce and tie into Axie Core that could also be quests in the bounty board, right? While we sort of wait for like the cool quests that are tied to Atia's legacy and other Axie experiences.
Giving me flashbacks of the Axie Game Jam, which is one of the um, Yeah, I don't know how many people actually got to play the Axie Game Jam games, but there were hundreds of submissions of just all these crazy wild gaming experiences that you could experience, all based in the universe of Axie. But I could definitely see some games like that just living on app.axie website.
Yeah, I remember that game jam. There were some really cool submissions.
And a lot of them are really small too. Like it wouldn't be hard to have them live on a browser.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. AI Axie game jam.
ChatGPT, write me write me code for a Axie farming simulator game. I think it's coming. I think it's coming. There's a game uh, game development software called Game Maker, and they recently did a deal with ChatGPT, so it's going to be integrated directly into the game making software. So you'll have like a little AI assistant that can help you code. It'd be really crazy to see how that comes to fruition. Yeah, don't make any mistakes. Thanks, ChatGPT.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading the chat. Chat is moving too fast for me to talk and read at the same time. I wish I could do both.
So how far out are we from season one of the Codex, do you think?
Yeah, so season 0 will end, here in a few weeks in 4 or 5 weeks, I think. And so we'll probably take an off season right through the holidays. It'll season 0 will end in time for the holidays, right? And we don't want to launch something in the middle of the holidays, so we'll likely wait
Right.
till January or after. We'll need some time, obviously, to gather the feedback and work on some new features and some new content, right? Like I'm already working on the lore. The team is already working on some, the infrastructure for season 1. And we'll need some new accessories and rewards and things like that. So we'll need some time, and we don't want to launch in the holidays. So we're looking at later in January.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. You want to let people enjoy the holidays. Oja brings up an interesting point. He says missed opportunity could have been Axie rewards for first people reaching a certain level. So I think, let's see. This could have worked as a raffle. The first people to get to reach level 30 would get 5 tickets for a raffle to win a Japanese Axie. Those who
Yeah,
reached it a week later only get 2 tickets. That's a really cool concept. And
yeah,
even with Jin's Fortune Spin that we have on Ronin Marketplace with the Axie machine, maybe there's some way that uh, that idea could be integrated with that.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's actually something we thought about in to do in season 0, but kind of skipped it. Right? Is to have a leaderboard that is ranked based on completion time. Right? So when someone reaches a certain level, codex level or finishes it completely, right? They are ranked on the leaderboard, and they put their time is put there, and that's their rank, and they the rewards based on your rank, right? I know that the Axie growth team did a contest or something, right, for the first people who got to some level or something. Um, we could build that in there, right? And I think that would be a cool way to sort of, create that race to sort of finish it, right? Now, like we didn't want to do that for season 0 because we didn't want to create that too much pressure to go really fast. But that could be a cool little side thing for future seasons.
So there was a recent change to the Master Quest recently, right? So that it can't give out AXS without re-rolling the quests.
Yes, Yeah. So I think that was 2 weeks ago. We made a change to the master quest where your initial board of quests, right? Um, cannot it can contain a master quest, but that master quest has a 0% chance of having an AXS um, tied to it. Now, what that means is you have to um, re-roll in order to get a master quest with AXS, right? So you can still get master quests normally, and you know they're obviously worth the most codex points and the most bounty board points. I think it's like 200 codex points or something per master quest. But if it's the initial board, you can't get AXS on it, and so you have to re-roll. And this is sort of to incentivize people to re-roll and get master quests and use up their slips. And it's also, an attempt to sort of combat, a certain level of botting, which sort of depleted the master quest pool within like 2 days, and so we want to extend that as much as possible, and that's always been an adjustment that we've made, for the bounty board is how do we keep that quest pool going, for throughout the week as long as possible, and so as you can see now, right, this change made it deplete way too slow. I think one of the first week was like only 200 AXS or something like that from the Master Quest pool was depleted, right? And so now we're making adjustments to give out even more Master Quest AXS. So we'll have an adjustment coming out soon that increases the rate of that, right? So I think I don't know specifically what it was, but I think with every reroll, it increases your chances of getting a Master Quest, and with every reroll, it also increases your chances of getting Master Quest AXS. So I think that's the change that we're making in coming weeks.
Cool. Yeah, I do like that it provides more utility to collectible Axies requiring the fortune slips, but definitely maybe balancing maybe in order. Cafe NFT asks, why do we repeat the same quest that we re-roll? Re-roll? So I guess he's re-rolling the quest and then getting the same one back again. Is there a queue system working in the back end? How does that work?
Um,
Is
yeah,
this bad
that's
luck?
that is bad luck. Yeah, I don't remember. I thought we implemented some anti reroll, anti duplicate quest mechanism, but I guess we didn't. Yeah, that's a really good point there. And yeah, we can consider that. Some people like. Oh wait, no. Yeah, if you get a quest that's bad and you re-roll it and you get it again, that feels shitty. Yeah, that's bad. That should not happen.
Yeah. I see a question in chat, wanting to make quests that are based on sharing through social media. So like I think the in the Roman Arcade we have quests that are like, like this post, retweet this post, but it's not necessarily as like advanced as like like write a Twitter post about a game, like a victory that you got today in Origins or something like that. Is there? I don't know if we can ever get that advanced, but do you think that there could be some social media integration into the codex in the future?
Yeah, we want to experiment with more types of quests like that. Like non-game quests, like more community social quests, right? Those are just kind of hard to do. Like, uh, like a lot of quest systems have that, and they're very easily exploitable and like easy to get around. Like I remember for like the Moku quest system, it would be like retweet this tweet, and I would never retweet it. I would just click the link and then be able to verify it, right? Like I guess that's just a limitation with like the APIs and stuff like that. Don't tell Moku. Uh, and so we want that, right? And so we should absolutely have that because it's a really great way to like amplify some things, so I want to do that absolutely. And other types of quests that we want to add are like governance is ramping up very soon, and there could be quests that say hey, go vote on AIP 003. But yeah, we want to like if you guys have ideas for quests, like just shout it out, let us know. We're constantly looking at how we can add new quests.
Yeah, I noticed that during season 0, there were a lot of people struggling with the Axie Quest, quests. Even when I was streaming, people would hop on my stream and ask me how to complete the dojo codex quest. And unfortunately, I didn't know how to answer, but apparently the Axie Quest Discord is super active and very helpful. That's good to know.
Something
Axie Quest equals reroll.
that some people love that quest. So that's the hard part. Like some quest people love, quest people don't. So it's really hard to balance, right? Now, something that we are looking at for season 1 is imagine a perk that would allow you to augment what quests you get on the bounty board. You know, so one of the perks that we're thinking of is, so if you guys have any ideas around this, let us know. But we want some perks um, for the next codex that sort of improve or help you with the bounty board, right? Now, imagine one of the perks being that you can unlock being increased master quest rerolls, so like maybe master quest goes up by 50%, right? And that's one perk. Maybe there's another perk that you unlock that's like unlock an additional bounty board quest slot, and so there's a new slot that is, that unlocks and you can now get more bounty board points. Or maybe there's a quest that says, you know, increase the chances of app.axie quests or something, on your bounty board, right? Things like that, right? And so those are the kind of perks that we're going to experiment with in season 1 of the codex, to sort of see, which perks do people like, how are people, you know, playing playing around with the bounty board and interacting with it, and what kind of rewards would, incentivize people.
Landfill's got a good question. Have you considered making profiles more personalized and customizable using the codex progression and Axie score as a system to continue to unlock this? Um, yeah, especially
Yeah.
because we're like some of I mean, we're getting the accessories and the background rewards. I will admit that I wasn't a huge participant of the codex during season 0. I was more ingrained into the Ronin arcade. I was grinding that one hard. But are there quests that will encourage people to more personalize their app.axie profile?
Yeah, we kind of threw in one experiment reward there this season for season 0, and it was that background. Remember? So I think I forgot what level it was, but level
I
20
think
something,
30.
yeah, something like that. You unlock a Hangouts background, right? And we threw that in there to sort of see if like this, you know, cosmetic
20.
people would be excited about. Oh, level 20, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
People would be excited about this cosmetic, and to our surprise, people actually like that thing. Like we got DMs and feedback that people were just like, "Holy crap! I got to get this cool background." And all it is just a background for your Hangout that lives in your app.axie profile, right? And that was surprising to me, and we could do a lot more of that, in the future. And a little leak here is that, we're gonna expand the Hangouts very soon. Well, not very soon, relatively soon. But we want to do a lot more to Axie Hangouts, and we like to answer. I think it was Landfill. To answer your question is that, yeah, we want to do more with profiles, app.axie profiles. My vision for app.axie profiles was always that, your app.axie profile is a destination and a link that you would share in like your X or Twitter bio, right? And it's like it becomes sort of your LinkedIn profile or your resume, or like, this thing that encapsulates your entire Axie Infinity, engagement and contribution, right? Right now
Something
it's
that you
not.
can use to flex on the noobs.
Exactly. And right now it's not really, right? It's mostly just an inventory, right? There is the Hangouts that you could show off your favorite Axies and stuff. That we're looking to expand a lot and make it more, engaging and fun. Maybe turn it into a little mini game. Um, and but also, with like the introduction, with like the, increasing importance on Axie score and your Axie tier, right? Your score tier, right? Like I'm a myth keeper right now, that is another important identity aspect of your Axie Infinity, profile. And so we want to highlight that more, and then with governance and stuff coming out and badges being more important, um, there is space here to experiment and like play around with your app.axie profile in a way that makes it fun to share, and important to share. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all great stuff.
Thanks,
Now, I know
man.
you said earlier that the Codex will be taking a break for the holidays. But are there any sort of Christmas events that we have planned that you might be able to leak, or is that all hush hush?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could go there.
Heard, heard, heard.
Yeah. It might be honestly it might be a quiet holidays, we might do some stuff, but in terms of like a big major blockbuster release like past years, uh probably not. Yeah. Yeah, past years it has been, the holidays has been very hectic, right? Last year, or I think it was last year, we had the Nightmare release, right, and that was crazy and big. The year before that we had Part Evolutions or something, right? And so every Christmas has been insane for me. I've had to miss a lot of time with my family, and so this year I'm kind of looking forward to a quieter, no major releases, but obviously we might do some cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone deserves a little break, but can't remember who asked that. Yeah, Chris, you got your answer. I see a question. Add some features to those who have long streak on Atia's blessing to the Codex. That's interesting. I don't think adding a quest be like like having a quest that's be like have a 7 day streak on Atia's blessing. Then you miss one day and then you can't complete the quest for 7 days. But adding some features like you said earlier, like the ability to maybe add more quest slots to the queue. Is that something that is in the like is that a possibility for somebody who has like a absurdly high Atia's blessing streak?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I've been thinking a lot about the blessing recently, and it's become like a critical and important part of the ecosystem because it's how you get fortune slips, right? And so a lot of people pray just because they want to make sure they get enough fortune slips to play the binding board the next day, right? And so that's become important because of that. But also some people still pray because they don't want to miss they don't want to miss a day, right? And now, if you remember, right, the Atia's blessing and Atia shrine thing was created during a time where we cared a lot about DAU, right, and the daily active addresses, right, and that's become less important these days, right, and so that could mean we make some changes to it, right, like maybe um a tier shrine and blessing is not, and praying is not the way that you get fortune slips, maybe instead there should be some other mechanism, right, and so I'm open to exploring that as well.
I've been using Duolingo since I arrived in Vietnam, and I've got like a 200 and something day streak on Duolingo, and I can remember a couple days when it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm like in bed, I'm about to fall asleep, and then I get that notification, yo, you're about to lose your streak, and I my heart skips a beat. I have to hop on the app and complete a lesson real quick, just so I don't lose that streak. It's not about learning the language. I don't want to lose the streak, man.
Yeah.
I think people have asked in the past, but I am just curious. Is there a like Duolingo has streak freezes, you know? Like is there a way to unlock like a streak freeze so that like if you like you have it in the chamber, so if you miss a day then you're safe?
Yeah, maybe. To be honest,
Especially for some of these people, dude, that have like 600-day streaks or even more, like 900-day streaks. If they just slip up one day, that's like 3 years of progress.
yeah,
That it feels bad,
yeah.
man.
Well, we have the mechanism where you can like restore a streak, right? So like you can pay some access to like fix your streak,
Uh,
but you got to do it within a certain amount of time, right? And some people actually miss that, Um, so we have that, and we don't have any plans to like expand, you know, your daily praying uh, feature. So
maybe just make it so that you can buy to save the streak, but you can purchase it before the streak gets missed. So that way you have it in the
oh
chamber, you
yeah,
know?
oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you could pre-purchase some. Yeah, that's a cool idea. A shield, yeah, it's like a streak loss shield.
Exactly. Exactly. Backflip asks, can the codex be tied to both keyless and seed phrase addresses, but a single account? Uh, that's interesting. So like app.axie, it's only like a single wallet attached to your app.axie account.
Yeah, I
Um,
think, yeah, no, that's not possible right now. The codex is tied to your wallet. Um, it gets complicated when we start tying things in app.axie to keyless, in like your waypoint account and stuff. I've been intentionally trying to avoid features like that because it gets really complicated, and from what I've learned, I think people prefer that things are more wallet based rather than waypoint based.
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, we got some long streaks out there. We there is a handful of people who have never missed a single day of praying since day one.
That is some admirable level of dedication.
Yeah, and those people were invited to the playtest. That's right. Cool.
Cruz,
Yeah,
how you doing over there? I think Cruz might be away from keyboard.
he might have been dropping off his kids at school.
Oh, no worries, no sweat. What were you saying?
Yeah, we're coming up on time here. I want to make sure that if anyone has any questions, throw them in the chat.
Heard. Let's get the last few questions rolled in here.
Yeah, I think it's important. So like this is our third sort of Discord stage, Axie AMA Discord stage. And I think it's important that we do these consistently, right? For even if they're just 20 minutes long, or like we don't really have anything to talk about, I'm gonna make sure to hop on here with, Jaster, Cruz, Ryan, Jace, Pause 2, whenever we can, consistently. So sort of just have a dialogue with you guys, talk, have fun, reminisce about the old days, talk about the future, answer questions. We want to make sure we do that. I think that's important.
Quasinglife.ron asks if it's possible to make the accessory of that little gift icon. If you can see it in chat, you just scroll up a little bit. They
Yeah,
posted a picture of the Season Zero Ascendant Path, that little gift icon. They want that as an accessory uh, in December for Christmas.
that's cool. That's a great idea, actually. Um, yeah, yeah, good suggestion. We have yeah, we do have some accessory collabs coming up. So this is the first time we've ever done this, right? Is accessories that are, partnered or third party, right? And so we have some collabs coming up. Yeah, this is kind of a leak. We have some accessories that are tied to other IPs, right? And these are like partnerships or collabs and stuff like that. So we're opening the door for that soon, and it yeah, it'll be very cool, right? Like the communities of those communities, the players of those communities will have some exposure to Axie Infinity, and Axie Infinity, the community will have some exposure to that community. Um, yeah, so we are looking at having some opening the door for partnerships when it comes to accessories.
That's pretty sick. I can imagine maybe a little Moki plushie in the aside the Axie, or maybe a little angry dino.
Yeah. Okay, it is Moku. The first one will be
Well,
Moku.
okay, okay. I didn't know. I didn't know, chat. I just guessed. I
Yeah,
swear.
I
I
was I was
swear.
gonna yeah I was gonna say it if someone guessed it. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, the first one will be Moku. So we'll try to line it up with the launch of Grand Arena. And obviously, this is a great first one to do this with, right? Because we want to make sure that this first batch of partnered third party accessories are with a team that we know, that we're familiar with, and that we love already, right? And the communities are very overlapped. There's a lot of people in the Moku community who came from Axie Infinity, and so yeah, when I'm not going to release any details or how they look, you know, I'll let someone from Moku do that. If someone from Moku is listening, you have my blessing to just release how those accessories look, um, uh, and and yeah, but yeah, we'll have some Moku accessories soon.
That's awesome. Dark Messiah asks, "Will there be a badge for Codex seasons?"
Yes, yeah, there will be a badge for sure. Yeah, we're we're trying to like make badges for everything, right? Because badges are your Axie score, and your Axie score, is very important across the ecosystem, and your Axie score is going to be more and more important, increasingly important over as time goes on. So, whether it's for governance or utilities across the ecosystem, that's going to be important. So yeah, we want badges for everything.
Uh, Gunbald says, "Ronke collab when?"
It's a good one. Yeah, imagine
Uh,
little Ronky standing next to your Axie.
can we get a Ronke face mask accessory?
Oh gosh, there are some accessories we can't do.
We can always dream.
Key nipples? Nope, not doing that. Yeah, so if there are specific collabs that you guys think we should do, yeah, let us know. It doesn't have to be on Ronin. It could be outside of Ronin. It doesn't have to be a game. It could be, something else, right? Like remember back in the day we had a Maker DAO uh, land items and CoinGecko collab. Things like that. I think we had a Binance collab, right? So like, we used to play with those partnerships a lot, right? And over the years, we kind of just stopped doing those, but we're looking to open the door now for that.
Blooper asks, "Can you change the background music to Origins when dueling? So like maybe choose different tunes for the battle." But that actually got me thinking back to the MySpace days. If anyone actually remembers MySpace these days, but I remember when you would go to a profile, it would immediately start playing a song that the owner of that profile had set up. So like it was another way to like personalize the profile. It got me thinking for these app.axie profiles. Maybe you could unlock so we're unlocking accessories for our Axies, we're unlocking backgrounds for the Hangout. Maybe we can unlock in-game jingles that play when you enter
Yeah,
somebody's when you check out somebody's profile. I don't know. That's an idea.
yeah. We could turn app.axie profiles into MySpace profiles. You know, HTML, CSS, snippets, colors, blinking stuff. Music.
Everyone's friends with shoot, what's that guy's name?
Tom.
Everyone's friends with Tom, dude. MySpace Tom. That's hilarious. All right, I'm scanning for any final questions. Speak now or forever hold your peace. I'll give it another minute. I see some chatters.
New Axie parts via codex? Probably not. But new Axie parts, I mean, obviously that's still in the plan. Whether it's from the codex, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I've thought about the codex being like a way to like distribute new stuff. That could be possible.
Oja, we've already answered that question. The duration is subject to change based on the data we've received from season 0. All right, cool. Shade, are you satisfied?
Yeah, that was a good session. Yeah, like I said, we'll try to do these consistently. Even if we have nothing to talk about, we'll just hop on here and randomly banter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great way to stay close to the community and get new ideas flowing too.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I wish we had is what maybe we could try experimenting with this, with the future one, but is like playing something while we talk, you know, like Origins or something, or the Codex. I don't know. Just for something for people to look at and like comment on. I don't know.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
yeah, like it could feel more like a Twitch stream. I don't know. That's the cool thing about a Twitch stream, right? Is like the streamer is playing something as they're interacting with the chat and talking.
Yeah. We could live battle each other too.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Some 1v1s in Classic or Origins. Psychomatix says do Codex live. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Re rolls live. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Shade, for being here and answering everyone's questions. Thank you, all of you, for being here as well and asking all of these amazing questions. And you said this is we'll be back in 2 weeks with another AMA.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, Jatster will schedule it.
Awesome. Well, thanks once again, everybody, and we will see you all again soon. Peace.
Thanks, everyone.